Hi there everyone, MVious Cosplay here, and before we begin the show today, I just want to say thanks for tuning in to my channel, and if you want to support the show, feel free to go to my Ko-Fi link and donate there. With your donation, we will be able to improve the quality of the show with better audio, as well as better video capture, and even more things to come. Thanks everyone, and enjoy the show.
Here we go. We are going.
Awesome.
Hi everyone, it's MVious Cosplay here again, and this is episode 2 of the Cosplay Sessions. With me today is a very special guest and a close friend, longtime friend of mine, award-winning cosplayer Julia J Cosplay.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
So, just a quick intro for the viewers and listeners that don't know. Introduce yourself. When did you start going into the cosplay community as such, and we could go from there.
Sounds good. So as Marvin said, I am Julia J Cosplay on all social media. I actually started cosplaying about 10 years ago now, in 2012. Wow. So I've been at this for a little while. And I actually got into cosplay because my university had a cosplay club called the Cosplay Brigade. And I had always been interested in cosplay, even in high school. One of my friends had gotten me a cosplay costume from a show that we both liked. But I never really got into it. It was still just a Halloween costume. But then when I went to the university and I saw the club there, I was like, wow. And then the first what is it called? First club meeting, I was like, I found my people. So long story short, 10 years down the line, we're here.
Nice. So, and I don't think I ever gave an introduction on my channel.
You should do that.
Yeah. So, as with my podcast from a couple years ago from lockdown, I've been in the cosplay community for by end of, let's see. Oh, I know the date. I remember the date exactly. The 28th of this month, it will be my 11-year anniversary in the community.
Yay!
Started out with horror cosplay for like only a year and a half, and then I got into DC. Majority was just one single character, an OC of mine. And then when I met Julia, it was Power
and
Rangers.
John.
And John. Power Rangers. I was in that for 3 years straight.
Yeah, I think, wow, that means we must have met about 8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Around that. But yeah, almost every event was Power Rangers, and I kind of got burnt out, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because, yeah, that's kind of how it went for me, too, except for I started with DC. I skipped the horror. So I started with DC, and then I went to Power Rangers, not this one, my Pink Ranger, which is up there. Anyway, yeah, I have a shelf above me that has my helmets. Yeah, so that's how we met.
Yep.
I mostly stuck with DC. I just realized that.
You don't have any Marvel, don't you?
I have a Scarlet Witch cosplay.
Oh,
and
yeah.
an Elektra cosplay. But yeah,
At least
mostly
there's two.
Shh. I only have like 10 DC and 2 more. I need to get more Marvel. But yeah, actually my first cosplay was Batgirl. And yeah, that was my very first cosplay. My boyfriend at the time that I met through the Cosplay Brigade, the cosplay club, he was cosplaying Batman. And now he is no longer my boyfriend because he's my fiance. So yes, so cosplay couple stuck together. So now he cosplays, Batman, Superman. We were a DC couple for a while, and now he cosplays Daredevil, and I cosplay Elektra. So we're now moving toward them. We're coming in on the Marvel series.
Speaking of Daredevil, really quick on a little tangent, have you seen Elektra's Daredevil suit from the comics recently?
I have not recently.
Yeah, recently.
I feel
Matt
another
Murdock,
cosplay coming on.
Yeah, giving you ideas for Marvel.
Yeah.
So, Cliff Notes version. Matt Murdock got himself in prison. So Elektra decided to, you know what? Matt's not going to be going anywhere to do this, so I will, my way. I'm like, ooh.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go look at that. Thank you. I always appreciate the recommendations.
So let's see here on my notes. Alrighty. Oh, so we went over your origin story for cosplay.
That
Over
is
the
my origin
years, what's been your favorite cosplay? Whether it be like the wow factor when you show up to the con floor, or is it more on the comfort and ease level for you?
This is the hardest question, I think, for any cosplayer,
Yep.
because we all have favorite cosplays for different reasons.
Hmm.
So, I actually thought about this because I've been asked this before, and I forget what I said before, but I think, at least what I'm thinking right now, I want to say that Wonder Woman is overall a little bit of my favorite just because of how it makes me feel wearing this costume. Because a lot of the things that some people who don't cosplay realize is when you are dressed as the character, when you're posing, or especially when you're seeing the little kids who see you as that character, it really makes you feel so amazing, so wonderful. So like when I'm in this character as Wonder Woman, I love the little kids' reactions, the little kids who come up to me and sometimes want to give me a hug. Once during a photo shoot, there was a little girl who like saw me from a distance and booked it to come see me and hug me, and it was the cutest thing ever. So that's why I love this one. But that being said, my if for those viewing who don't know my other cosplay stuff because they just see me as Wonder Woman, I also cosplay Hawk Girl with really large moving wings, mechanical wings. And that one for the wow factor is not no comparison. We get stopped so many times with those wings. So that one would be my favorite for that. And it's not exactly the most comfortable because you have to carry heavy wings, but for the most comfortable, I think my Kim Possible cosplay would be my
Yes.
favorite. Because
Nice.
not only is it most comfortable, I'm wearing tennis shoes. I don't have to deal. Actually, this costume now has the most comfortable shoes. Ironically, I surgically removed my boot with the super high inch heel that was my Wonder Woman shoes, and I attached into my most comfortable sandals. So now this one's
Nice.
comfortable. But still Kim Possible with tennis shoes, and it makes me really excited because like my generation, I guess, who grew up with Kim Possible, everyone is just like, "Oh my God, you're Kim Possible!" So that's that.
And
Those
plus the
three would
fact
be
that you're
pretty
wearing
much
like
the
just
top.
khaki jeans and a tank top or a sweater.
Yep. However, so I've only cosplayed this once so far, but I have a feeling my new favorite cosplay soon is going to be my Gokaiger Power Ranger cosplay. This one I did
Very
not
nice.
3D print. I 3D printed this helmet. I'm yellow. My friend is going to cosplay pink. But I 3D printed that pink one. Um, but for no people who haven't seen the Gokaiger series, I loved it
It's
with
so good,
every bit.
everybody.
It's so good, right? So I've only worn her once, and when I did, it was so cool. I felt so cool. Like she really is more like my personality than even Wonder Woman is, because she's just like, yeah, I take no crap, and I'm cool doing it, but I also really care about you. So, that I have a feeling is a future favorite.
Hmm.
Yes, that's a hard question. What about you? What's your
Oh,
favorite?
in terms of wow factor, I guess anything I end up puff painting.
Right? It's like it's so hard. You put so much work into, the pieces, or even if you don't put work in, you buy it. All of them that have their own stories and just like touching stories, like my Wonder Woman with the kid. Um, so they all become your favorite,
Yeah, but it's like
different ways.
I think with Shang-Chi though specifically, like yay, puff
Yay!
painted. I haven't worn it to a con or even a charity event yet, but
Hmm.
when I finished it and when I put it on, when I watched the movie wearing this opening weekend, like just the amount of cheers from
Aw.
the Asian community as a whole when
Yeah.
I showed up there, because there was quite a few Asian couples, families with their kids, and then when they saw me, it was like just Like finally we have
Aw.
something.
Yep, that touching moment. That's really what does it. It's really what does it.
Mhm. So let's
So yeah,
see.
good question. Hard question, but good question.
Yeah. Alrighty. So as I did state earlier in the introduction, you are a contest winner.
That is right.
So what inspired you to compete primarily? Like I know with me it was I only done it twice, but it was like just something I wanted to try out. Was it something similar to you?
Not really. So I was never really one to like care about going into them until I met my friend Andy, who is imhawkman on social media, because he cosplays Hawkman, and of course I cosplay Hawk Girl. So it was funny because I had my Hawk Girl cosplay when I first met him, which is why we met. And I had my feather wings. He had his mechanical foam moving set wings. And so when we met, we just took a quick, quick pictures together, which we thought was going to happen. But it ended up being we got stuck for an hour together because people
Ooh.
saw us and they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's Hawk Man and Hawk Girl!" And even though we didn't have matching sets, they still we could not like. I tried to go away because I was visiting the convention with my best friend. Well, at the convention with my best friend, we tried to move away. Someone would say, "Oh my gosh, I saw a Hawkman down there. Can I go get your picture with him?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess we're going back." And then I would go back to him. It's like, "Hi again. We just can't leave each other, can we?" So he actually said that he was interested in doing the cosplay convention contest at the convention. I hadn't even heard of it. I didn't even know it existed. And so he was like, he had done a few before, but he's like, wow, with the factor of us both together, we might stand a chance. So I was like, you know what? Why not? We didn't have anything that night, and it sounded fun. So yeah, we actually got to know each other a little more while in line to go into the costume contest. And that one we did not win because we were vastly different characters. But that's when we got together. He offered. He was like, we should team up and do another costume contest. So we did. We had matching sets. We had moving mechanical wings that weren't just pull across, and my static real feather wings. And then we went the next. So that was Long Beach Comic Expo or Comic Con, Long Beach Comic Con. I forget which one, whichever one comes first. And then Long Beach Comic Expo, we entered our first official contest, and we took our first contest win.
Nice.
And that was a long time ago, like 6 years ago.
Dang.
And since then, with the different variation of wings that we now are on Hawk 6. Have tried to enter a contest now to at least get one win with every set of wings.
That's a lot of dedication per set.
Thank you. So yeah.
All right, let's see here. So with the ones that you had won, what do you think was like the biggest win?
I actually forget what win was with what con, but I know that at least personally for me, I didn't need it, which made me so sad. But we won a Bernina sewing machine that I think was valued at like $490 or something like that. It was the red version Bernina sewing machine, and it was beautiful. And I already have a really good sewing machine. I was tempted to keep it, but actually what we did is I'm Hawkman or Andy ended up selling it on something. And then we took the proceedings from that win and put it into our next wing set. So nice. I think we won with what we call Hawk 2 with that one. And all of the proceedings went into buying, with Hawk 2, we had window regulator things from a car that he bought. And then we put it into getting actual actuators for the wings. So that was really cool. But I also kind of wanted to keep it just because it was really pretty. And the idea of winning a sewing machine to me was so cool. It's like any cosplayer's dream right there.
Exactly.
So that was my most memorable win and what I considered like, we got the grand prize. of a sewing machine. So
Mhm.
there you go.
And
But I have a
speaking of
brother.
Hawkman and Hawkgirl, are you excited to see the movie version of Hawkman finally on screen?
Yes, but there's no Hawk Girl.
I know.
But
Well,
yes, I am
maybe.
excited. I'm a little worried because if he does the character right, like, Thor, like,
Yeah.
Thor wasn't exactly the highest top tier character until we got the live action.
Mhm.
And now he's everywhere. So if Hawkman can do it right, maybe we can have a really good, strong character for the Hawk franchise.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yep. I mean, with me and Aquaman, it's like I've been waiting for so long, and then Jason Momoa shows up.
And he did so well.
I know.
Love him.
Like, why change the suit? It's already perfect.
It's perfect. I don't think he needs to change it. He doesn't need to do anything. He's perfect. Yeah.
Like that blue one in the movie coming out, and it's like, yeah, sure, it's the stealth suit from the early 2000s, but we don't need it. We got the orange and green. Don't change
Yeah.
it.
Don't
But-
change. You gave the fans what they wanted. Don't
Merchandise
change
sales.
it.
I gotta do it.
So, yeah.
Alrighty. So, third topic here, 3D printing.
Yes, I am a cosplayer who 3D prints stuff. I already mentioned it earlier.
So speaking of that, what got you into 3D printing? So like you got the moving wings for the Hawk Girl set. Was that part of what got you into it? Were some parts 3D printed? I mean, you were like,
Strangely, yes
I want to do that.
and no. Yeah.
Okay.
Like my answer to that is yes and no. So the Hawk wings don't have anything 3D printed on them. They're all hand built by wood, foam, PVC pipe, carbon fiber, or wire. So those ones don't have it. But we had gone. Andy and I. Also, I don't know if it says last name. It's Andy Holt. No, I'm Hawkman. We went together to the amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con. And there they had an entire, like, 2, maybe even 3 booth sizes, just like you can go in and walk, of 3D printers and the things that they had printed with the 3D printers. And my dad also went with me as Professor Oak from Pokemon. So the coolest thing is they had this big space and they were scanning people to make a model. Like, so I know that a few conventions now have that booth that you go in and you pose and it does the 360 of you. But it was just a guy with a whole bunch of 3D printers and he went with the Xbox Connect sensor and
Wow.
he scanned all around you. So what the coolest thing was is that he was like, yeah, so now I'll send you the file. If you have your own 3D printer, you can just print out an action figure of yourself.
That's dope.
So, and I went as Hawk Girl still. So I got a scan of Hawk Girl. Weirdly, those are sitting still in my computer and I haven't printed them out. I got a 3D printer because I was like, and my dad was thrilled with this idea. He was like, my dad's also older. So he's seen, technology advance, and he was like, this technology has gotten us to this. This is a real thing. It used to just be in Star Trek. It was just, just fantasy-wise. But now it's here. My dad was just thrilled to bits with the idea of 3D printing. And while there, I was talking to a guy who had been 3D printing for like 10 years. And he recommended the CR10S by Creality because I had looked kind of into it when I heard other cosplayers doing 3D printing, but there's so many out there. And I looked and they were, for tiny little things, they were really expensive. So I was like, not worth it. And that's like the mainline ones. So he was like, no, this one for a cosplayer, best price, best build volume. You can't go wrong. So I'm like, you know what? For a Christmas present, my dad had asked me, what do you want? And I wanted a 3D printer, a CR10S 3D printer. And I still haven't printed out our action figures from that con. I have so many other things.
Turned out really well.
Thank you. Yeah, I have some here if you wanted to see. So this one is already a finished model 3D print. So this one I 3D printed, and then my amazing fiance, Wreckeddiehard, or John, who is behind me right now, probably listening to everything I'm saying and going like, yeah, that's right, I did that. Nah, he's amazing. But yeah, he finished this. He put so much effort. And I mean, it was a lot of effort to print it, but it's also a lot of effort to finish it.
Hmm.
Just saying.
And speaking of 3D prints and finishing things, might as well just showcase this here that you did recently. So this was a tiny version of this print. It's a little tiny lady in a dress.
She's so cute! She came out so nice!
Right?
She did! She came out so nice!
I love the pearl finish on the dress that I did.
Oh,
And then I went
yeah.
with the matte whites for her face
I like it.
and gold. I was gonna go plain yellow for her eyes, but I was like, you know what?
The gold looks good.
The gold, and I just did a simple flat black for the hat.
It looks good. You done did good. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Just gonna wait for the weather to cool down a bit so I can actually work on the bigger one.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for those watching, I have printed him a few things now, and he's always like, "What else can I get her to print?" So when we got the file, I was like, "Okay, this has to be the right size, right?" And it finished, and I'm like, "It fits in my hand. This is not the right size." So we made it bigger.
Yep. I mean, I'll just grab it because it's right here.
Okay. She's so cool.
Right? Like, look at the difference.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, I'm very happy with how that one came out. It was very good.
So, since we're still on the topic of 3D printing, what would you consider to be the biggest pet peeve for 3D printing?
That people think it's just Control P. It's not just Control P, print, send to the printer. That's not it. So like it does it's hard to see behind the scenes because all you see really, like, the glamorous stuff is the printer printing it up and working it out. They don't see you have to, like, you put it into your software, whatever it's called, a slicing software. I use Cura, Ultimaker Cura, and it'll tell me how much filament's going to be used. It will tell me how long the print's going to be printing for. But most importantly, it will show you when you're printing it out where the support material is going to go, how it's going to print. You have to orient it the right way. So you can spend like quite a good time making sure it's going to try to print right. And you learn by trial and error, you know what your printer will do. But you have to manipulate the settings. You know, you want it shorter layer lines. Do you want the infill to be a lot? So like yours is 10% infill. This helmet was also 10%, but there's other things that I have to print in like, so your lightsaber bit, that's 100% infill. It's like you vary. And then when it goes wrong, when the print fails, you have to troubleshoot again and figure out why it failed, redo it all. And not only that, the printers, they're not absolutely 100% indestructible. A lot of things can go wrong. Like so many things can go wrong. The nozzle can get clogged, the filament can break, the wind can change direction, you know. I've taken apart my printers quite a few times. Also, I don't think I even mentioned I've been now 3D printing for 4 years.
Nice.
So yeah, and I also have a resin
Wow.
printer, and that's a whole different issue. But yeah, so I've been printing for 4 years, so I've been through just about every horrible nightmare story you can possibly think of. And yeah, so that's
same with puff painting.
Yeah, so because you know all about it, you know if it gets in the wrong spot.
Yep, or even it's like, oh, okay, I'll take a quick 5-10 minute break so my hand doesn't get arthritis, and then once I go to try to apply more, it's clogged. I'm like, how?
Yeah, no, that is terrible. And like, actually, I have a scar right there. I have a scar right there because so like when you get it, I now have wham bam plates, which means it's a magnetic plate that you take it off of the bed and it's slightly flexible, so you can pop off the print that's adhered to the surface of the bed. But before I had that, I had to take the sharp stabby unit, which is a scraper, and pry it off of the bed. And once it slipped and it went right into my arm.
Ouch.
I have gotten so many cuts from 3D printing, so now wear gloves. I always wear like industrial gloves because the support material can be rather sharp. So it's a dangerous hobby. But yeah, so that's basically it. It's people thinking that the printing portion is just Control P and sending it to the printer, and it's easy because it's a whole bunch of stuff. It is.
Yeah, because I see so many 3D printers on TikTok, and it's like, oh yeah, I just made this thing, and it's like they just show like I think the final stage of the print process, and then within the next second, it's like, oh, it's finally like
done.
filled and painted and everything.
Yeah, so people get a misconception of, oh yeah, you just grab the file, put it on the printer, it's no problem. And yeah, and then so also finishing work. I've done my fair share of finishing work for especially my most recent Owl House cosplays for me and my friends. I made the staffs and finished them. And that's also just super time consuming. It's not necessarily it is hard, but it's not necessarily technical hard. It's just tedious, and you have to get it just right. You have to sand it just right, line it up and paint it just right, and then the paint can go wrong. So there's many things that it can go wrong. So yeah, that's it's a whole procedure, whole production. But that's why for also those watching, on TikTok, also Julia J Cosplay on TikTok, and my TikTok is a lot of 3D prints as well as cosplay and just anything I kind of want. But on there, I try to show the entire process. I try to show putting it on the software, how long it's going to take, waiting for it to print, seeing what happens when things go wrong. So it's yeah. I try to give the whole picture, not just the, I want to print this. Look, I printed it.
Yeah, so...
Oh, speaking of things going... Okay, actually, we'll get to that. Continue.
Okay. So when it comes to puff painting, like the biggest issue is, of course, the clogging. But the second one is like, when you think everything's going right, then the bottle farts out air bubbles. Or it's like, once that happens, a ton of paint just gushes out onto the work.
And yeah. Oh my gosh. Right. You can't take your eyes off it for a second.
Exactly. And it's thankfully it hasn't happened to any of my clients so far.
Oh, good.
Only my own work, which makes me sad at the same time.
That's helpful, yeah. I mean, it's good, but also like similar.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. There's wood here. Knocking on the wood.
Yeah. So it's like, oh my gosh, like. It's always when I think I'm almost done too, for some reason.
Yeah. But, yeah. It was like I got so for the past like year, I've always had probably like 2 out of my 3 filament printers working, and now my resin printer is also destroyed. I'm getting a replacement part. I broke the what is it called? Not sensor. I broke the LCD screen. That's what I broke. I broke the LCD screen. Not the point. That's another story. But so I usually have like 2 out of the 3, hopefully at least 1 out of the 3 working. Because as soon as all 3 of them working, I'll like stare them down. I'm like, okay, which one of you is gonna break first? I know I can't have all 3 working, so I'm watching all of you. They're like troublesome kids, I swear. Right now, my smallest printer, the one I printed your lightsaber on, it's broken. Somehow. I don't know what's happening. I do know what's happening, but it can be one of like 5 things that's happening, so I have to go through all of them to try to fix it. It's printing up to like the 3rd or 4th layer, and then it shifts over. It's just like, I don't want to be here anymore. Shifts over and then continues to print. So it's like this weird thing that has like, it comes up and then it shifts and then it goes back up. So yeah, I can't have that happen. I think it's a belt issue, but anyway. So yeah, so one print, like whenever you think it's going well, that's what I was saying for your puff painting. You think it's going well and something happens.
And lastly, on the topic of 3D printing, what is the dream prop or something that you want to get printed
Halo
for
armor.
yourself? Or
Halo armor. Halo
Spartan
armor.
armor.
Spartan
Nice.
armor. Halo armor.
And there's so many variations.
Yeah. Actually, also, I was just looking into 3D printing a Ghostbusters Proton pack. It's
Ooh.
beautiful, but it has so many parts, and not only does it have so many parts, it's going to take a lot of filament. Even if I print it at 10% infill, it's still so big. It's just has a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, I think Spartan armor is the future next step, because I definitely want to, but it's just so much. It's just so much. And my biggest printer, I have my CR10S, which is my medium-sized, which is my oldest printer, and it's been kind of getting slower and slower as time goes on. And then my biggest printer is my Ender 5 Plus. That one would print the bulkiest stuff. And then my baby printer, who is being the youngest child and throwing a tantrum right now. And not printing, but that one would only be really small pieces anyway. Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh, since that's pretty much all the stuff I have for the notes, just a little rundown of last weekend. How was WonderCon?
WonderCon was awesome. It was amazing. The only thing is, it felt to me like it was like it felt like a smaller con, if that makes sense. Like the feeling of it, which is fine. Like that was totally good. It's just it's different than past WonderCons. Like past WonderCons, this was WonderCon. This one, it was more like a relaxed, easygoing, just, kind of a chill WonderCon. And I really, really had a good time. I wore 2 new cosplays to that con, so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
But let's see. Yeah. Got to be. I was on a panel. I was a panelist.
Nice.
I did the cosplay portfolio review for like people who were interested in getting into cosplay, what they could do to improve their cosplay, or if they had specific questions for their cosplays. So that was really fun. I really hope I get to do that again. Because yeah, I want to be able to help open up the world of cosplay to whoever might be interested, whoever might want to start into this very fun, tedious hobby.
Expensive hobby.
Expensive hobby, but fun, but tedious.
Yeah.
Oh, on TikTok, have you seen that one where it's like she's holding a bunch of fabrics and goes through all the like bad things of like the frustrating things about being a cosplayer?
I don't think I have.
I will send it. It's perfect. I forget who did it, but it was genius. It's just like you need all the money for all these fabrics. You need all the time to make the stuff, or money to buy the stuff. Things have to go wrong, and you have to restart. And like it goes down the line of everything that might go wrong, and it's like you should still join us because it's fun. Like regardless of anything, I mean, after wearing this costume, like I will have red marks sometimes getting cut from my bracers. My corset also will leave marks. This thing gives me a headache, but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's worth the pain. It is.
I think the most painful thing for cosplay for me, it's wig caps, specifically my wig cap for Loki. That digs in compared to my other ones. I'm like, why haven't I bought a replacement for this yet?
Yeah, I hear you. Like this one is metal and it's shiny, but I don't know if I just need to replace the band on it, because after an hour wearing it, I will start getting a headache. Like I don't. Yeah.
I think it's the band.
It has to be the band. I just don't know. I'll work on it later. That's a future Julia problem. But I think I remember you also asking once what the hardest print to make was for me.
Yes.
And I didn't know how to answer that before, but I thought about it, and it was from Yu-Gi-Oh! A Blue Eyes White Dragon figure that I gave to my friend, who is also your friend, Eduardo. It was a birthday present for him, and then I attempted to scale it up and make one for my future brother-in-law, and I hope he's still not expecting it because I need to reprint it. I have the parts here. This was the hardest thing trying to print for me. And Eduardo has our I think does he go by Riverside Ranger still, or he goes by Eddie?
I think Eddie Ruiz.
Ruiz Cosplay. I think he changed. Yeah, because he's now getting into wrestling and he's doing really well. So I think he changed it to that. I chose the wrong pieces. Anyway, the rest of the pieces are in my thing. So this was this. It's supposed to be for a resin print. Speaking of resin printers, here is the cute little tiny blue eyes white dragon in resin print.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool? So I attempted to print out the full thing, because this is the full thing printed out. I attempted to print out the full thing using my filament. It wouldn't. It refused. It refused harshly. 3 or 4 times. Yeah. And so I had to print them all out in pieces, and the pieces themselves were also hard because like this is really thin and so it had to print like this, and it would fall over sometimes, and then I have to assemble it. But the problem with this one, this is the wrong side, but you get the point.
Right.
The problem with this one is one of the pieces failed. I put all of the pieces onto a what is it called? Print bed. All the pieces onto the print bed. One of the pieces failed. I don't remember what piece it is because like I had put them all together, so I don't know what piece failed, and I forget how much larger I made this. So I can't just go back and print the one piece to it that I need, because it's not possibly, unless I get the very exact percentage that I upscaled it to, I'm not going to get the right size. So that's the hardest piece. Oh, and then actually something cute that I was going to point out. I 3D printed this little Vulpix, and she failed. She her leg back here, if you can see, it failed. The leg itself failed. So on TikTok, there was such cute little interest in her because her leg failed, but only right in that section. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make her a cast, and I'm gonna make her a little amputee.
Aww.
So
reminds me of the husky I almost got.
Oh, that's cute. So yeah, so I made something out of the one that had failed, and now she's perfect.
That's nice.
Cute? Yep. So anyway, so that's some fun what is it called? Stories in the world of 3D printing.
I think I might need to commission you again for an actual cosplay piece, because there's something missing on my forearms for Shang-Chi.
There are. I've actually been thinking of printing a set for me just to have them.
Because they are.
But I actually really wanted them in metal, because I like that. Like, this is metal. This is metal. I like metal. But I don't have a metal 3D
for a 3D print just so that it's easier to make them light up.
That's true. I could print them probably hollow-ish, and you could like run a string of lights through them. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Print them like that. Yeah. We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
We'll talk shop later.
We'll talk shop. Oh, also something. This one was also really hard. This is an incense burner, or the cone incense thing. So you light the incense and you put it on top, and then the smoke billows through the mouth.
That is so cool.
This was, so you can, this one also failed right there, but I'm keeping it like that because I'm like, you know, this is, a dragon will lose its horns in battle and something like that. But this one, the only reason it was a hard print, this was, like, because I got some of the ones that were the hardest prints to make, so to show you. The reason this one was so hard was because of the filament. Just this thing here, you can see it's stone texture.
Okay.
So I got this one because it's supposed to be stone, and my printer hated it. My printer was like, "How dare you feed me this crap?" Like, it was like, no. It was just no. It's a softer filament, and again, with the why it's not just Control P, everything can go wrong, including what you feed the printer. So this is the second or third one I had to print out after adjusting it, because it was just like, no. I refuse. I refuse to use the stone. Yeah.
That's cool. Is that one filament or resin?
This one's filament. So the only one right now I have of resin is this. Actually, Diehard, do you have your no, never mind. I just resin printed Marvelous's lock necklace
Nice.
for John. So resin is a whole other story. Right now we can stick to filament printer. Yeah, because one, my filament my resin printer died, and it's different because like this one you won't really see layer lines, right? You can't really see it at all. This one's super smooth. It's a lot more brittle. There's just a different stuff on it, but I mainly do filament right now. That's my main printers. Yeah.
I thought it was resin because from what I'm seeing, if with it being off to the side, it looked like resin from far away.
That's cool. That means I did a good job. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. This one was fun. Like it is the filament. The filament comes in various ways. I had to print this on super quality so that it would actually print. So that meant it was the slowest. It was the most fine-tuned. Aha! He's the best. He's the best. There we go. I resin printed this, and he painted it.
Nice.
So yeah. So that's that. You can. It basically came like that. Like you don't have any layer lines. And so we kind of lightly sanded it and painted it gold.
I think I have something of resin print that I got done. Give me a second right quick.
Yeah, I just wanted to show it off. Fine, I'll wear it.
Give me a second here. So I got these in. It was like hey, I'll do this for you as a thank you for puff painting me and my significant other's suit from a client.
Ooh.
So these are Amazing Spider-Man 2 web shooters.
Those are beautiful.
And he painted them himself. They were done on a translucent resin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I'm just loving the metallic candy looking.
Oh, I know. No, those are beautiful. Yeah, resin can be very, very nice. Resin's very pretty. I do like it. I'm just more adept at using filament printers. I'm trying to get more into resin, but
magnets in on these so I could finally finish my Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. And he did
that's so cool.
A new face shell for me as well with really good lenses. I didn't opt for reflective like how Andrew Garfield's actually were because I want some fog-free lenses for once so that air can go into my face while I wear the face shell.
Smart.
Yep.
But yeah.
Alrighty. So that's all the notes that I have. Thank you, Julia, for taking the time for this and telling us the origin story for your cosplay journey.
Oh, of course. I am happy that you wanted me to be on here with you. And if anyone else here wants to contact me, you can absolutely do it through any of my social media. Instagram, I will be a little bit more time getting back to you. I don't check my Instagram as often as I should, but yeah, I'm Julia J Cosplay on any social medias, and I'm always happy to answer any questions about cosplay, about 3D printing, whatever you might want. I'm always here to help.
Alrighty. This has been the Cosplay Sessions. Episode 3 will come around sometime soon when I get another cosplay guest on. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.